This morning. The Care Morning Show, like we said, thought provoking. Here we don't attack personality, but of course we discuss the issue. Welcome again. Like we said this morning, our guest, a high profile guest today, the political leader of the Alternative National Congress, Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings. And of course, he's here serving breakfast with us. We're going to be straight up to 10 o'clock. So let's have a wonderful conversation. When you call, please make sure your receivers or your monitors are silent, or perhaps you turn it off completely, because we don't want feedback interfering. All right, so let me cross over to Obed and let me say good morning to Mr. Cummings. Obed, good morning, welcome back.
Yes, indeed, Jeff. It's good to be back. Like we said on yesterday, that after all of the attempts to have Mr. Cummings here with us, especially with our boss, Mr. Kishen, finally he agreed to come in for the first time live in our studios. And we'd like to say good morning, Mr. Cummings. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Morning, Obed Jefferson. Good to be with you. And by the way, my not coming here was no reluctance. It was just scheduling.
Okay, great.
So it's good to be here. But I don't see the breakfast.
Intellectual breakfast.
I don't see no coffee, no tea, no.
Please blame Mr. Kishen for that.
Sour gravy.
Traditional food.
What kind of breakfast is this?
Intellectual breakfast. Okay, so we're live this morning. Radio D3 in Sino Kante is relaying this program. Vision TV is also carrying us live. Golden TV is carrying us live. DN News, Closing Argument, Focus on Liberia, and of course our own KCN TV. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, on Care Communications Network. Follow us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from across the world. Welcome to this interview with the political leader of the Alternative National Congress, Mr. Cummings. Again, thanks for joining us. How is the ANC? Let's start up that way.
Yeah, no, thank you. Again, good to be with both of you.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be here many, many more times as we move forward.
Yeah.
No, the ANC is good. We're in the process of reorganizing the party. We went to convention late last year in Magibi, in Kakata. Elected a new officers, some new, some got their positions again.
Okay.
And we're in the process of finalizing all the appointments so we can re-energize the party. So party is in good shape, but we're trying to again re-energize, restructure, and to get going. So we're in that process right now.
Restructuring the party, bringing on new members, giving them the opportunities to serve as well. How has it been impactful at the level of the party of recent?
So we haven't seen the impact of that yet.
Okay.
We're just starting that process with that. But you're right, we're trying to bring in new members into leadership, so to get some energy. We're trying to bring in more younger people. As you know, Liberia is a very young country. You represent that age group. I tell people, most of my life is behind me.
Okay.
Most of your life is ahead of you, right, in terms of age.
Yeah.
So, but we haven't seen the impact yet, but I'm very confident and optimistic. Liberians will see a renewed energy from the party being led by the young people. Our chairman was re-elected, Chairman Lafiagu, but we got a new youth chair, Aliyu Kaidi, very party. But I have not seen the change yet, and I'm going to push the party so we can see some new energy across the country.
As you bring it on, others also left the party. What does it mean to you?
Look, it's always disappointing when you lose partisans.
Okay.
And we want all of our partisans to stay with us. But inevitably in life, in politics, they say you win some, you lose some.
Okay.
The good news is we have won significantly more than we've lost in this process. And so always disappointing. And, let me say it in this public manner, that any partisan who has left, who has been disappointed, we want you to come back, give us another try. Happy to reach out personally to anybody who felt aggrieved for whatever reason. Because again, politics is about addition.
Yeah.
It's not about subtraction or division.
Number.
It's about numbers, and we want addition. So again, we We are always saddened to lose partisans, but again, good news is we've won a lot more than we've lost. But we want to bring those who left to come back.
Great. One of the persons who are always admire pushing the case of the ANC is a powerful women chair, Madam Kwekwe.
Yes.
Having heard of her of recent.
No,
Has she left the party?
No. Oh, the good
Where
news
is she?
The good news is Vic,
Yeah.
Madam Kwekwe Victoria
Mhm.
Tolu Kwekwe is still a very strong partisan
Okay.
in the party. Vic is focusing on just making sure she's establishing herself,
Okay.
first. But she's still with us, still supporting us. She's still debating what her ambition is.
Okay.
But 2029, I think she's still trying to make that decision.
Great.
But no, I'm very happy to say she's not one of those who left us. Yeah, she's very strong woman, very smart, very committed. I'm very close to Vic, and so thank God she's still with us.
What is the current status of the ANC in the rest of the country? Talking about the rural areas and other counties.
We got a lot of work to do there.
Okay.
Again, you will find I will always try to be honest
Okay.
in my answers to my question, and to pretend otherwise would be untrue.
Okay.
This is part of the revitalization, part of the re-energizing the party we have to do. But in rural Liberia, the party is not as present as it needs to be, not as visible
Factors
as it needs to
responsible.
be. Look, since the election, I think people wanted to catch their breath, to rethink, re-energize themselves, right? And so we're in that process now, actually doing that. But we got work to do. Certainly, we got a lot of work to do.
What to do? When does it
rural
start?
Liberia.
When is that actual work?
It's starting now.
Mm.
Again, this
2026?
takes time. Yeah,
Okay.
this year. By the way, the other parties too are kind of dormant. They may have structures, they may have people. The UP and CDC are older parties. They've been around longer.
Is that a
They
justification for
have-
yours?
No, but it's a reality
Okay.
that I always encourage our people that we're not competing against ourselves.
Great.
We're competing against other political parties and institutions. So yes, we want to be hard on ourselves. We want to push ourselves to do more and better. But at the same time, even though the other two parties have been in power, ruling parties, and they got better structures in the counties, they're still not very active today.
Okay.
So we will get active clearly, but we got work to do.
Great. Great work to do with the ANC. I want to use this opportunity to ask basically about the formation stage of the ANC, crafting that name, Alternative National Congress. How did it come about?
So I wasn't there at the beginning. I joined the ANC,
Okay.
by the way. So when I decided to enter politics,
Yeah.
Obed, I had a choice of starting my own party
Mm.
or joining an existing party. And I made the intentional decision to join an existing party because I said, look, there's just too many political parties in the country. And to just add another one, I didn't think made sense.
Mm.
So we did an analysis and looked at all the various political institutions, and we decided to join the ANC. We looked at their mission, their vision, their values, their beliefs, and it was very consistent with my vision, values, and beliefs. And so we joined the ANC. But I believe the ANC is actually a spin-off from the CDC.
Okay.
A lot of the founding members of the ANC, as you know,
Mhm.
Jefferson were seditionists,
Mm.
and they decided they had some issues, I guess, at some convention in Birmingham or something, and they formed their own party.
Mhm.
And initially, they were thinking about the African National Congress, but as you know, African National Congress is
Yes.
in South Africa.
Yeah.
And I believe they got together and decided they liked the ANC, so they changed from African to the alternative. And I think it speaks to what we're offering our people today. We're offering Liberians an alternative.
Okay.
Or some people call it the third lane
Mm.
or the third way,
Mm.
right? Because when you think about our country, 178 years old, if you think about the last 20 years, two predominant parties,
Yeah.
and the life of the common Liberian has not fundamentally changed,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
And many Liberians are looking for something different. They don't know who or what it is, right? But they know the suffering they're feeling today is not their destiny, is not what God wishes for us, for them Liberians. And they're looking for this alternative, this different way, this third lane. This third lane, exactly. And so our name, again, it wasn't by design, but providence. Our name reflects the alternative we want to offer Liberians to improve their living standards and to improve their lives.
Coming into that establishment made some changes. What new did you bring on board from what they organized and established?
I think we brought some energy to the party. We brought our standards on how we like to get things done. For example, I like to start things on time, so we're supposed to be at 8:30 today. I was downstairs at 8:25. You actually came to get me. I also believe in servant leadership. Right? What do I mean? When we go to ANC events, we as leaders, when we serve food, we don't eat first. We want to make sure everybody else is fed before we as leaders eat, because we have the philosophy. I have this philosophy.
Serving of the people.
We gotta serve the people. When you're the leader, by the way, and you're serving food and all the big shot they eat first, if the food not enough, they don't care if enough food left to feed everybody. But if you're eating large, you make sure enough food there, right? So you can eat yourself, right? And that's the way we think about leadership. Is we gotta look after the people we're serving first before you look after yourself.
So
if I may, we'll talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Unfortunately, the mentality of a lot of our leaders is this bishop business. Do you know who I am? And always take care of themselves first, right? And they forget that they're there to serve the people. I remind Liberians that all of our leaders, from the president, the vice president, the ministers, assistant minister, the legislators, the head of agency, they all get paid every month. They get salary, they get scratch card, they get general allowance, all of these things. They're there to serve us. They're not doing us a favor. They're not doing it for free, Jefferson. These people get paid every month. So we make no apology about holding them accountable, because they're not doing it for free. And I think we cut our leaders too much slack. We let them play this bishop business, and that. So in the ANC, we don't play bishop business. We are there. And that's the philosophy we brought to the party. But the party already has some of those philosophies, to be fair. Right? And we just added to it and brought some energy to the party.
So we think that that's a normal African style of politicking. They want it, they serve. When they get it, it's the other way around. How different is this sterling man, Mr. Cummings, in that direction? How can you reconcile that?
So it's a good point in the sense that, and I've asked a lot of leaders who've been in power, not just in Liberia, I know other heads of states around Africa, is that somehow, to your point, when we are, aspiring, when we are running for office, when we're vying for power, we say all these things we'll do. And then when people get a job, we forget, right? And I've often asked what happens, what causes that? I think there's several reasons why we'll be different. One is we are very clear on the things we'll do different if given the opportunity to serve the country. So we'll not get into office and then be trying to determine, what our agenda is. Our agenda is very clear what we want to do. Right? Two, we're going into office, not hungry. Meaning, I always say I've been very blessed. So I'm not going to office looking to make money or to somehow pay myself back for the money I spend. I'm going to serve. So again, the mentality going into office would be, I will know what I want to do from day one. I will know the people, and we're not going in there to take. We're not hungry. We've been blessed. We're going there to serve. And I think perhaps the third difference for us is, if you look at my history, that's why people should look at the ANC today and how the party is run and managed. You can see we have that servant leader mentality today in the party. They say the best way to predict or to tell what somebody will do in the future is what they've done in the past. So if you've been good in the past, that's how you'll be good in the future. If you've been bad in the past, that's how you'll be bad in the future. So you look at the history of the party, you look at my history of success, leading big, large, complex organizations, delivering results. That should give Liberians some confidence that the man has a history of doing what you say he will do. So when you get office, give me the chance, God bless me, I will do what I would say I would do. Because that's what I've done in the past, and that's how we run the party today.
Great. Mr. Cummings, a few other points relative with the ANC, then we step up to other national issues as well. 2 elections now. At first, when you came, they said the man is new. You contested, and after the second election, you dropped in terms of ranking to some extent. What ran through your mind at that point in time of a decline?
So, look, the numbers are what they are in terms of what was published. I think the numbers were fraudulent, by the way. I know for a fact that there were polling stations where I voted, where my family voted, where friends of mine voted, and the results published were less than the number of people that went with me to vote. Right? But look, that's neither here nor there. The results are what the results are. I think there was a determination by what I call the establishment class, which is people from both parties, to try to run me out of Liberian elections by the results we got. But I'm a very determined man. I didn't get to where I got in the private sector or bad because I easily gave up. The minute you give up is when you lose, right? And I am very determined. I'm very focused. I am undeterred. At the end of the day, it will be up to the Liberian people to make that decision. We are beginning to understand how they manipulated, they pull out the fraud, and I'd say it's fraud. But again, the numbers are what they are. It is what it is.
Did you feel
determined.
Did you
I'm
feel
determined.
cheated?
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you robbed of your numbers?
Absolutely. You know what?
What is the guarantee to
listen,
that? Yeah.
Whether or not I would have won or would have been a runoff, probably not. But the numbers were not nowhere near. We did our own independent polling. Right? Independent polling, and the numbers were nowhere near, what the results show. But again, I don't want to relate to that.
What did your executive committee members say in that regard following the elections?
It is what it is. I don't want to relitigate. We could have done many things differently. For example, our poll watching was horrible, was abysmal. So we didn't protect our votes, and that's what we got
as a
results as an institution, as a party. We did not do that. And that's one of the learnings things we'll do different, right? So for me, it's about the learnings, what we'll do different, and not to relitigate what happened in the past, not to try to revisit. It is what it is. They say we got 1%. Okay.
When they call you the 1%, man, how do you feel? How do you react to those who call you?
It doesn't bother me. The thing, we made T-shirts. And we say proudly 1%.
You're proud.
I'm proud 1%.
Proud to score 50.
I'm proud to score 1%. That's what it is. So I'm not bothered by that at all. If you think it will irritate me or discourage me, forget it. As I say, success for me comes from two things primarily. One is being blessed. I've been very blessed in life. Providence, I call it. Blessings is what some people call it luck. I don't call it luck. I've been very blessed in life. I'm a strong believer in God. And then the other piece comes from what you do with the blessings. How you manage the blessings. Right? And I've done those. I've been blessed not because of me, because God decided to bless me. I thank Him for that. But then I've worked hard. I'm disciplined. I'm focused. I focus on results. I don't get distracted. It doesn't bother me. If I want to get from here to where Jefferson is, I'm focused on getting there. There you can be pulling me here. You can be since I'm very focused. And I think that's the kind of leadership the country needs. Very focused, determined to get from point A to point B.
Some Liberians will say Mr. Cummings is a good man. When he came to the Liberian politics, he should have started by maybe testing the water at the level of the Senate. Have you heard that, Mr. Cummings?
Oh yeah, no, I've heard it a lot. And
do you think that's a great recommendation?
It's not a bad recommendation. But look, I my reaction to that is on multiple levels.
Let's hear some.
On the one hand, my objective of entering Liberian politics is to help change our country for the benefit of all Liberians.
Okay.
And if you want to impact all 5+ million Liberians, the job that allows you to do that is the presidency. So for me, the presidency is not the ambition, it's not the goal. The goal is to change the country. And the presidency is the job that allows you to do that. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, great.
The presidency is a means to an end.
Great.
The end is to use the job,
To help.
build a team
Mhm.
to change the country so that everybody can benefit from our natural resources. Right? The Senate does not allow you to do that. You're one of 30 people or the representative of being minister, right?
Mhm.
The second thing I say is that the government experience that people talk about,
Mhm.
what has it delivered in terms of improving the lives of the Nigerian people? So the teacher that listens to my voice now, the healthcare worker, we're across from the military barracks, the soldiers, the police officers. Is your life any better or different today than say it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Is it better? Can you buy more than one meal a day if you can even do that? Can you pay your children tuition? Can you pay your rent? This so-called government experience, this is what is delivering for you. The fact that your life isn't changing.
People
So
experience-
learning,
Mhm.
so how does learning that experience improve your life when the system, when the current structure, the constructs of the government isn't improving lives, and I want to improve lives. I want to do things differently, because what we've done for the last 170 years, our people's lives are not improving. That's a fact. The hunger index says, we are global hunger index says out of 123 countries, we are at the bottom, 112. That means 2 out of 5 Liberians, right, go to bed hungry every night. We're the 9th poorest country in the world. So getting that experience to deliver these same results, I don't know if that makes sense, right? And so that is why. So again, look, it's being a senator is not a bad thing. Being a representative is a bad thing, and it's consideration. But given what I would like to do, what I think I can do, the team I think I can build, those roles will not help my ambition. And ambition is to change the country for the benefit of Liberians.
And the presidency is the only way forward.
It's not a personal ambition.
Okay.
Obed, there's nothing in the presidency itself, right, that I have not been blessed to have. So the job itself, the convoy, the cars, the halls, when I work at Coca-Cola, my global job, the company had 5 private jets. I've flown private jets everywhere I used to work. So that is not the appeal. That's not what I want. You come in and run.
The luxury of the presidency is not what you're opting for.
No, it's not. I've been blessed to have those luxuries for bed.
Okay.
And I call it blessing.
Okay.
So the job for me is, how can we take that job to change the lives of Liberian people? The suffering, the hunger, we got too many resources. Liberia is too rich for our people to be so poor.
Yeah.
And that's so, if Liberians understand that is subjective, I don't think they will be recommending that, because they said it on our bad job. No disrespect to them, or representative, but that job will not allow me to change the country.
I know someone said Mr. Cummings don't like to talk about what he has done so far. But for the sake of the ordinary people listening today, to you, maybe for the first time, 2015 up to current, what have you done so impactful, reflecting the lives of the ordinary people in this country, Mr. Cummings? In summary.
Obed Jefferson, the list is so long, and I often say that 2 things. One, as I keep saying, I've been incredibly blessed in life. But 2, I see the needs of our people, the suffering of our people, and I cannot not help And when I've been helping people, it was never for political reasons.
Okay.
It was never to take credit. Now, in politics, particularly in Liberian politics, that was a mistake, right? I should have made, because then the question would not keep being asked. I should have made my giving very public. I still struggle with that today. I find it disrespectful. When people are in need and you help them, you shouldn't make them feel bad, because most people already feel bad for coming to ask you, right?
Yeah.
School fee. So we put on the real stuff like that. It's not who I am. I struggle with that, to be honest. Stuff, right? But look, we've done scholarships to hundreds, if not thousands of Liberians.
Okay.
We've brought in medical supplies to almost all the major hospitals. We've done generators to schools. We've put in computers at University of Liberia, at ANDU, at St. Clements. I mean, the list goes on and on. Whether it's in healthcare, in education, we've done it.
Okay.
We've paid WAC school fees for high school students. We can send you the list.
Okay.
I was on OK, and I think one of the guys sent a list to Julia saying he was reading, from the list of things.
Maybe I could just
You
read
can read a few.
So let's
so just a few. I will read. You leverage his current position and network to provide over $2 million in funds and support to Liberia, provided academic scholarship for Liberians both in Liberia and abroad, sponsored the Alexander B. Cummings Innovation Center, African Methodist Episcopal University, constructed a school in Painesville that focused on STEM education in the amount of $4.5 million, the first of its kind in Liberia.
US.
Yeah.
Okay.
Led a high-level delegation to Liberia during the height of the Ebola crisis to expand Coca-Cola's activities. And in 2011, President Salif conferred on him Knight Grand Band in the Humane Order of African Redemption. It is one of the highest honor a president can confer on an individual in humanity. And then also, in 14 months, the Cummings Africa Foundation implemented 22 quick impact projects with 25 implementing partners, which benefited 30,097 beneficiaries. US $289,386 was spent in the areas of education, health, agriculture, and development, a total money value of $307,886.
And the list goes
the list goes on. And yes, paid. Let me just go through quickly. Paid wide fees and provided tutorial support for 2,322 students from 21 schools across the country. Total project expenditure US $106,000. Established a scholarship and financial aid program with the University of Liberia. $1 million Liberian for 30 full-time students on financial aid and 30 full-time scholarship. The list goes on. Let me go down. Women's participation at the Trade Impact Conference in Morocco.
We can allow it.
I mean, so all of these things
has been,
yeah,
not just sitting and talking that he wants to make a change, but he's been making some inquiry.
Correct.
Mr. Cummings, let's step up a bit. I know you've been keen with this issue of corruption, and specifically, can you elaborate on strategies to combat corruption in Liberia? What specific measures will you implement to ensure transparency and accountability in your government when you are elected?
So, just to remind your listening audience that the reason why there are no drugs in hospitals, no teaching supplies in schools, that teachers, healthcare workers, policemen, soldiers, why people don't get paid, more money is because of this thing called corruption, where only a few people benefit from our country. And so, when we just say corruption, or it's actually stealing.
Yeah.
Corruption make it sound good. It's stealing. These people are rogues, right? there are consequences when people see that they're suffering. That's the reason why. So there are multiple things you need to do to fix this thing called corruption. It's not any one thing we have to do. So in no particular order, because we got to do all of these things, we have to strengthen the integrity institutions, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the Auditor General Office, all of these institutions that are meant to protect us against corruption. We got to make sure they're properly resourced, and that there's no political interference in them doing their work. So whether in my family or because I would bear annoying as family or political party affiliation, they should be strengthened so they can go after people that steal. We also have to, when people are caught, there has to be consequences, right? Meaning that if they're found guilty, they gotta go to jail, and we gotta recover the asset they stole. They took the money to buy stuff, we gotta take it back, sell it to give back to the Liberian people. So asset recovery gotta be part of that. We also have to pay people what I call a living wage. Minimally, civil service and stuff should be making about $300 a month, at a minimum, if not more. Because if you are a teacher, and by the middle of the month, you can't feed your family, you can't feed yourself and stuff, you will take money for grade. Human nature. Same with a policeman. If you can't feed yourself, you will put people off for money. If you're a healthcare worker, the drug's supposed to be free, you will sell it, right? So you gotta pay people a living wage, right? We'll use technology as well to help with minimizing all of the paperwork and stuff that people use, right? Pay teachers more, right? To invest in healthcare, to invest in agriculture, right? And we gotta do it in a consistent and persistent basis. I tell all the people who are supporting me now, if you're supporting me because you want your chance to come and chat, I'm the wrong guy. By the way, that scares a lot of people.
And that was my next question.
It keeps a lot of people away.
They want away from you.
Well, it keeps a lot of people because some Liberians, they think about this corruption thing. They don't like it, but they think one day I will get my chance. So don't be too hard on the stealing thing, right? So we are a complicated society. So
at the bigger level, members of the old order, this Cummings man wants to come and prosecute us.
Yes.
We will do all we can to stop him from taking on
correct.
power.
And someone there actually told me that directly to my face. I respect the fact that they were honest. They like this fear. Look, for me, it's about changing the rules, changing the environment. We change the rules and change the environment, most people will follow. The reason why people behave the way they do, because they can get away with it. Because that's what the system rewards, right? Most of the people, they're not bad people, but the system, that's how the system works. When people say there's no system like that, there's systems, so they're just not good systems. We gotta change the system. And when we change the system, 99% of the people in the legislature, in government, most of them will follow the rules, right? When they know there's consequences, right? So, and for me, by the way, it's not personal. I'm not going to identify, I'm going to go after Obed or Jefferson, right? Whatever the evidence leads, I'm not going to be involved in it. I'm not going to say, go audit. That's not my job. My job as president, if God bless me, it gives great environment to give the resources and to stay out of the way. We'll make sure they're not the people who's supposed to not politicizing it either. Right, but just follow the evidence wherever it leads and that kind of stuff, right? So, but a lot of people fight me, right? Seriously, because look, there are a few thousand people that benefit from Liberia the way it is today. This system, right? And those people don't want this country to change because they benefit from Liberia the way it's structured today. And my message is mostly to the young people. Because they gotta be the driver of this change. As I keep seeing, most of my life is behind me. That's a actuarial, that's a biological fact. You guys most of your life is still ahead of you. What happens to Liberia will affect you more than it will affect me. And this is why the young people gotta be the people that we gotta say, we can't accept this. This is not our destiny. We gotta have a better future, right? And demand the change through your votes.
Given the current economic changes facing Liberia, Mr. Cummings, what are your key policies to stimulate economic growth and create jobs for the citizens of our country?
So, everybody got an area,
Oh,
you know, um, in terms of what we know, what we're good at.
okay.
And my area is this thing called the economy or job creation.
Talk to us about this.
So there are a lot of things we need to do to grow the economy. We have to, again, create the right environment where people feel comfortable investing. So I'll give you a list of things we have to do.
Good.
And this is in no particular order because we have to do all of these things. So it's not first, second, third. It's just a list
Oh,
that comes to mind. One is we got to fix the judiciary.
okay.
If we don't have an independent judiciary, where if there's a dispute among business people or foreign investors come in and bring their money and something go wrong and there's a dispute, they have to have confidence that if they go to court, that the judicial system will judge based on the facts,
Okay.
based on the merits. That you will not have a judiciary that because they know the president or the vice president or whoever, right, that they will not adjudicate
Mhm.
in a fair manner. So you gotta fix your judiciary. Two, we gotta look at our taxation, our regulatory environment, and make sure it's not overburdensome to businesses, right? We also have to make sure it's easy to start and register a business. So the last time I checked, the website of the business registry
Oh,
was down. It's been down for the last year. They need to get it up. So you want to register a business, you can't go
how
online and do
recent
it.
did you check?
We checked about a week ago.
Okay.
So that again, all of those things send signals. Somebody sitting in Ghana who wants to invest in Liberia or Nigeria or the US and they go online, the system is down, they're like, these people are not serious. We gotta fix this corruption thing if we want to create jobs, etc. So there's environmental things you have to fix to attract people, including for Liberian businesses to be successful. But other things we have to do,
Oh,
we have to invest in agriculture.
okay.
So if you look at the budget, right, in 2025, there was $17 million allocated to agriculture,
Mhm.
which is too low. This year, they only allocated 14 million.
Yeah.
I mean, these are facts. This is not Alexander Cummings saying so,
Mhm.
right? The global benchmark is 10% of your
Of the
budget
budget.
should go to, you know this, right?
Mhm.
Should go to agriculture. Agriculture creates jobs. And it's not just farming, but we should be investing in processing, right? In value add.
Yeah.
So you create jobs, you grow the economy that way. We should be investing in tourism, right? Tourism can create jobs fairly quickly. We got 350 miles of beaches. We got some of the best surfing in the world in Cape Town, Roberts Point. We got mountains, we got forests. So how do we organize ourselves to attract ecotourism, right? So that people bring in money in, you create jobs in that section. Investing in housing. Housing is a good job creator. So these are all examples of things we need to do. For Liberian businesses, look, we import almost everything we consume, unfortunately, right?
Oh,
So Liberians should be the primary importers because importing is not a simple arithmetic. Obey, you import something for $10, you sell for 11 or 12. You import for 1,000, maybe you sell it for $1,100, whatever it is, right? Liberians should be doing that. The government is one of the primary institutions that buy goods and services. So we should be using Liberians to be the primary. And then if we need to provide them credit, provide them the credit, let them order the goods, bring it for whether it's furniture, it's cars, whatever it is. Liberians should be able to do that. We should be providing loans, micro loans for market women, for small Liberian businesses, so that again they can go and expand their businesses. So these are all the kinds of things we need to do to create jobs, to grow the economy, and we should be unapologetic. And Liberians should be the primary beneficiaries of our country.
Are these things that happening? Are you not seeing them?
I don't know. I mean, you're reporters, you're in the press. Are you seeing that happen? Are there examples of these things happening, right? And if it's happening, it's not on the scale we need it to happen, right? I think, again, our expectation as a people is too low. We need to be more demanding on ourselves. If we want to change Liberia, because we're behind all the statistics, right? We gotta be in a hurry. We gotta push each other. We make too many excuses, for ourselves, right? We gotta be more demanding of the government and of as I say, all these people get paid every month. They're not doing us a favor.
And then the government of recent said they've created 70,000 jobs, Mr. Cummings. You just outlined means and ways of creating these jobs. What is the honest fight about what the government said? I know you've anyone reacted to that. For the sake of our listeners, you care to follow that?
I think the reaction is, look at the reaction of Liberian people. Forget.
I'm seeking your opinion.
Look at the reaction of Liberian people. Liberian people asking where are the jobs. So if you created, whatever the number is, 10,000, 70,000, 100,000, you should say what sectors, you should say what counties are these jobs in. So is it in healthcare, in education, agriculture, in tourism, where you should 70,000. 10,000 came from this area, 3,000 came from that area. The government should be able to tell that people. 5,000 in Monserrado, 3,000 in Lima, 2,000 in Maryland, wherever it is, right? We should say the facts, right? So, not about me.
Okay.
So they should just say these are what the jobs are.
But do you believe it wasn't an accurate figure and no data to point to?
Well, if the data isn't there, then you got a question, right? So no, it's not factual. And I'm willing to be proven wrong.
Okay.
Present the fact, prove me wrong, I'd be happy. Yeah, I'm wrong. But the facts are not there. They can't tell us what those jobs are.
Mr. Cummings, how do you plan to improve Liberia's healthcare system, particularly in the wake of recent public health cries? What specific reforms will you introduce or prioritize as president of this country?
So, this is where I like to look at numbers, data, and facts, right? Okay. So I think that there are about 5 or 6 things that kill most Liberians. I think 80% of Liberians are. So in no particular order, again, diarrhea, malaria, hypertension, childbirth. I'm missing 1 or 2. Okay. But again, malaria, diarrhea, hypertension, childbirth, typhoid. 5 or 6 things that if you can address those things, you impact 70-80% of what afflicts our country and people. Okay. So our focus needs to be on what they call primary health care. Okay. Meaning the last time we checked, it was a year or 2 ago, there was a little less than 1,000 sort of clinics around the country. We need to make sure those clinics have jobs. They have nurses and midwives who are trained. They are getting paid. We got birthing rooms, in those clinics, and we need to build more of them close to the people. If you do those things, you begin to address, most of what afflicts our people. Yes, you have to, address, because some Liberians get cancer and other, chronic illnesses, liver, etc., but there's a smaller percentage compared to these others. So you got to invest in your referral hospitals, right, like GFK, Jackson have to. But the primary focus has to be primary health care to address these afflictions that I talked about. And even, leadership is about choices. Okay. You can't do everything well. So the healthcare budget we have, we got to allocate most of it in this primary health care, and then some of it to these other illnesses that affect our people, right? And then building the institutions to maintain and sustain our primary healthcare systems. Okay.
How will your administration address issues of access to justice and judicial transparency? I know either on the way in on that, or how?
Yeah, so Liberians experience our judicial system at a very basic level. right?
Mhm.
You know, so just like I talk about healthcare, you have to focus. Uh, the people that administer justice around, you know, land issues, um, around, you know, family issues, family court, we got to start fixing the judiciary kind of from the bottom up, if you will. But the whole system, as I mentioned, needs to be reformed. Again, judges need to be paid a living wage so they're not tempted to take money to uh, adjudicate in the wrong way. The standards have to be followed. We have to be strict about the standards. And when judges are found to be doing something wrong, they need to be prosecuted like everybody else. But we have to invest in the judicial system.
Okay.
We have to make sure, you know, the integrity of the system is protected. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, without strong judiciary, you know, our ability to grow business, the economy, etc., will be imperiled.
Great. The Unity Party government is in power, rescue government. Mr. Cummings, I want you to give us an honest opinion specifically about the Unity Party government. Are there specific areas where you believe that the government has fallen short?
Yeah, I said it in my response to the annual message,
Okay.
that where this government has fallen short is in impacting the lives of the common Liberian person. So, as I've said in the past, and I'll say it again, too many Liberians go to bed still hungry. Too many Liberians still struggle to pay their rent, to pay their children's school fee, etc. And the Unity Party's government is not impacting Liberians at that basic level, at what I call a micro level.
Okay.
You know, the reality is you need roads, no argument about that. But a lot of our leaders, our politicians, think about leadership as one or the other.
Okay.
Either or. They think about it in a sort of what they call binary fashion.
Okay.
I think about we can do both, and we have to do both. It has to be a win-win. It's not one or the other. It's both. So yes, we gotta invest in roads, no question about it. But that's not enough. That's not sufficient.
Okay.
We also gotta invest in the basic things that impact the lives of the Liberian people. Look, if you look at the budget, it's about choices allocated. The NSA budget was increased by 50%. It is not as Anna Cummings says, it is a fact. 50% more, $22 billion United States dollars. What is a national security threat that justifies 50% increase? And by the way, that money is never audited. We'll never know where it goes. Why are we not paying the soldiers more, police people more? These are the people that really protect us on a day-to-day basis, right?
Then the NSA.
Why are we allocating 51 million United States dollars to the legislature? 103 people. That money can be reallocated to some of these basic needs, right? Our legislators are among the highest paid in Africa, in fact, I think in the world. They get paid, when you look at everything they get paid, it's pretty close to, I think, what the Americans pay their legislator, if not the same, it's close, right? For one of the poorest countries in the world. That should not be this money in. Reallocating the money, whether it's to agriculture, whether it's to pay people more money, at least $300, $400, give us a minimum wage. Those are choices, you know, that need to be made, right? And the Unity Party government, they're not making those choices, right?
Even from an experienced president, we talk about 40 plus years of service to country.
Yeah, look, Joe is my friend. I think Joe loves our country. He means well for Liberia. But I'm not judging him per se, although he's the president, so I'm judging him actually. I gotta look at the results of the 2 years. I gotta look at the budget he presented to the legislature. The budget speaks for the experience. And the budget says in the arrest agenda, agriculture is the first A, right? 17 million in 2025, which was too low. $14 million in 2026. That's a fact.
Okay.
So how can agriculture be a priority, the first in your arrest agenda, and you allocating less money to it, right? So I gotta judge the president or any president or this president on the results. And I look at the budget, and I look at the lives of Liberian people. I look how the money is being allocated, and I'm like, you're not making decisions that will create jobs and that will impact the lives of the average Liberian,
Is it
of the
waste,
common Liberian.
waste
That's what
in
they do.
government?
Oh yeah, there's no question about that.
What's the reliance? What's the fact of
They're
that?
not wasting government. The number of cars we drive, the kinds of cars we have for government officials, the number of people that travel, the class of there's
Well, you
so-
do
there's
that
so much-
differently, Mr. Cummings.
Of course. We need to standardize.
What were your officials in executive right when you come to power?
Look, we even have to revisit who we buy cars for, because it we got to do the arithmetic. It likely makes more sense, by the way, to provide subsidy for people to buy their own cars, because if they own it, right, they will take better care of it, as opposed to the government vehicles, and they abuse it, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, no, I mean, that's a lot of ways in government. Where we pay for things, where we procure things, how we go about doing it, all the bribes that are added, onto stuff, tons and tons of ways in government. All of those things we have to change. All of that contributes to the corruption we have in the country.
Yeah, in 2000.
Yeah, I want
Okay,
to question too. And then-
But let me bring in this one. Since we're talking about your friend, the
Yeah.
president, during the campaign period in 2023, you made mention of not giving the only cutlass in the town to an old man to go and cut the grass from the farm. Accordingly, and now the only cutlass has been given to this old man in the town. How do you think things are now and will be?
Look, again, I can only judge based on the results. And as I said earlier, again, it's kind of a repetitive question in a way of that. As I said earlier, I look at the results, I look at the common Liberian, I look at their lives, I look at their ability to feed themselves, to pay their rent, to pay their children's school fee, etc., and that has not improved over the last 2 years. Certainly not over the last 10 years, but not over the last 2 years. And that's how I ultimately judge the UP government and the president about that.
Yeah, so I was specific about 2029. If Mr. Cummings is elected, now looking at one core priorities, right? Your top 3 specific actionable goals, right, you will aim to accomplish in your first 100 days in office. What are the first 3, and how will you do them?
So again, we have a 100-day plan, which we can share, and I'll give you some examples of the kinds of things we plan to do. Again, in no particular order, we said implement a national youth service program across the country. I was on OKFM. I said that, and somebody called in and said it's being implemented. I'm not aware that it is. Maybe I could be proven wrong, but we said we'll do that in the first 100 days. We said we'll make loans, available micro loans to Liberians in the first 100 days of administration. We said in the first 100 days we'll make sure our administration is fully populated for all the key appointments done, so that we can be up and running in the first 100 days. We said we'll begin to address corruption immediately and make sure we're staffing all the key integrity institutions in the first 100 days. So there's a long list of things we will do the first 100 days, and those are just some examples of what we're doing the first 100 days.
And Liberians that are listening to these things you're saying, they will start to wonder, if politicians, because many times some politicians make deep promises, and then how will you personally, Mr. Cummings, be held accountable if these promises are not being fulfilled?
Look, ultimately, the way you hold a politician accountable is through your decision in terms of voting, right? And the press has made the government accountable, right? So Liberians will judge me, right, and will hold me accountable if I don't deliver against when I go, to election. In the interim, I'm sure all of you and others who will be in opposition will be letting Liberian people know that Mr. Cummings is not living up to the commitments he's made. This is why I go back to what I said earlier, that they say the best way to predict future behavior, future performance is past behavior, past performance. And I stand on my record of behavior and performance, and I said that should give Liberians some comfort that in the past, what I've said I would do, I will do. I've had tremendous success in a very competitive environment, right? Where I grew to a very senior role in an environment where it wasn't my father, my mother, company, no relative, etc. So there's a history of performance, there's a history of delivery, right? I mentioned how we run the ANC, and not perfectly, and I'm not pretending, but the behaviors we exemplify even in the institution should give Liberians some comfort that there's a history of delivery, there's a history of performance, and likely that will continue.
Mr. Cummings, I'm also keen on the issue of reconciliation in our country. Too many times we talk about the country being divided. It's a class system, it's a political system, that one government come to power, they prosecute the opposition or they go against this particular one, not giving them job. How are you intending to reconcile Liberia that previous leaders or the current leader is not doing to reconcile this country? How?
So the way I try to answer that is my philosophy, and I remind Liberians of this. So none of us sitting here today, none of us choose our tribe. None of us choose our age when we were born. I'm the oldest here today by far. Not a choice. None of us choose our gender, whether we're man or woman. None of us choose the religion we're born into. So I didn't choose to be born a Christian. If there are any Muslim brothers in here, there are no sisters in here. Brothers in here, you didn't choose that, right? My point is, my philosophy is those things should not determine your success or not, because it's not your choice. It shouldn't determine whether you benefit from the resources of Liberia because you don't choose those things. What should determine what job you get, what benefit you get, is what you do. So I often describe this bowl of rice we all eat from, call it the economy. Let's call it the bowl of rice. Every Liberian should be guaranteed the right to put your hand on a bowl of rice and eat from that bowl of rice. No matter whether you're a tribe, Kio, Kola, Kran, Congo, Madingo, no matter. You didn't choose man or woman, young or old, Christian, Muslim, not a choice. Guaranteed. The only thing that will stop you, put your hand up, is things you do. So you don't follow the rules, right? It's a choice. You can follow the rules or not. If you rip somebody, if you steal, if you kill, we're not let you put your hand in the bowl of rice. Because that's a choice. But nothing else. That's the mentality I think we should take, right? And we should also think about how we make that bowl of rice bigger too. This is a growing economy, creating jobs. Because when our bowl of rice is getting bigger and everybody believes and can actually put their hand in the bowl of rice, a lot of the differences that we talk about will go away. Look, it's human nature. If that bowl of rice is getting smaller, it's shrinking, first you want to protect yourself, then your family, then your tribe. That's human nature. But if we're growing a bowl of rice, and it's guaranteed, we don't care where you're from in the country, your tribe, your age, it begins to change the dynamics. That's the philosophy we take. We are going to have a government of inclusion, right? Somebody was just telling me, I just met somebody literally lost their job at one of the parastatals, state-owned enterprises, where they were all told that, we all in this thing together, and we're not UP partisan, and the person, because they were an ANC supporter lost their job. We're not gonna do that. That shouldn't happen, right? Again, that is alleged.
Will you incorporate seditions in your government?
I would incorporate
Unity Party partisans?
I would incorporate any qualified Liberian. Sedition, UP, or any other political party.
Your party could come after
NPP.
you.
But you see,
executives of your party could come and say, Mr. Cummings,
but you see,
you're giving our jobs out.
You see, this is. I'm glad you raised this point. This is a mentality we have to change, right? there's opportunity for every. It's not either or. And the government is not the only job creator. That's a mistake we make. Look, I don't know if this number is correct, but it will be close to correct. Apparently, the government hires, if it's fully staffed,
Okay.
it might be about 60 or 70,000 people. And by the way, that's too big. But so if we fully staff the government, let's say that's 70,000 people, right? The reality is at least 2 million Liberians looking for a job. How can the government be the solution to this job issue we're talking about? This is where we gotta fix the economy. We gotta grow the private businesses. Is what creates jobs, right? So that's it. That's the opportunity, right? So it's not either or. Some ASA people will get government jobs, right? But some will get jobs private sector. Some young people want to go to university or college. We'll send them. We can't think about this thing this narrow way of thinking, right? We gotta open our minds, gentlemen. Right? Young people, this fixation, government. Yes, government has to play a key role, but government enables job creation. It's not a job creator.
Okay.
You understand the difference?
Great. Yeah.
The environment we create.
The environment.
And then the private sector is, you want to grow a private sector so that if you're not in the party that in power, it should affect your livelihood. You should be able to support yourself because you got a private job, right? Private sector job, right? And Cummings government, again, if you qualify, I don't care your label, right? It doesn't matter. And yes, people they will fund. There will be in government. There will be other parts of the economy, right? It will grow the economy. So let's not narrowly think about this job stuff.
Okay, let's look at the presidency under Mr. Cummings' administration. What kind of presidency Liberians will have, or should they experience or expect under Mr. Cummings? What kind of presidency?
I'm not sure. I understand your point, but let me give it a try, Jefferson. Look, it will be a presidency that is, accessible to the people. Presidency that will be, as I mentioned, investing in things that impact, people's lives. It will be a presidency where we will not discriminate political party, tribe, age, gender, religion. We'll set the example. It will be a presidency that, we say everybody need to work hard. We'll work hard. We say people shouldn't steal. We'll not steal. So leadership is not what you say, it's what you do. People don't follow what you say. People follow what you do.
Yeah.
So you can't tell everybody to come to work at 8 o'clock and you didn't go to work at 10 o'clock. Everybody will come at 9:45.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
You can't tell people not to steal and you're stealing, or the people around you. And it's not just the president, everybody around me. Right? If people say, but who's stupid here? And they're correct. You're the boss.
And nobody's stupid.
Yeah, no, you're the boss, right? And you said don't steal, but you stealing. Of course. Right? So we'll set the example. Anything we ask the Liberian people to do, we gotta be prepared to do ourselves. And the key leadership has to also set that example, right? One of the things we are trying to do now is identify leaders across the country, not just in government, because you need a group of people around Liberia in civil society, in the teaching profession, medical, that have the same values, because that's what people will see more often. They will see the president on TV, on social media, at events, etc. But they will see the reverend at least every Sunday, or the imam every Friday, or they will go to a meeting. We want to identify people who will exemplify these values across Liberians that people look up to, so that they themselves can exemplify these values: hard work, integrity, good behavior, etc. We need a movement, a value-based movement in Liberia, that and we will have these leaders. We will support them and encourage them, right? So people can see what good behavior looks like, and we need to reward good behavior. Today we reward bad behavior. Sometimes the worst person become, man of the year in the church. Why? What are we kidding, right? All those things we gotta address. We gotta change.
Two quick questions. We'll go to the line because we're ending at 9:50 this morning. If you just join us, you're listening to the Kia Morning Show. We have with us the political leader of the ANC, Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings. Mr. Cummings, let's talk about the current state of affairs of Liberia. How will you describe it? Zooming in other countries in the sub-region and Africa at large.
Yeah, look, I would say we have many opportunities in our country today. The biggest one I keep coming back to is to the economy and job creation. That's the biggest challenge facing our country, and we're not addressing it in the aggressive manner that we need to do it to create jobs for our young people. There are many other challenges around rule of law, the judiciary, the yellow machines, that saga, the whole procurement around it apparently is coming down. Lots of questions, around that, for example. But this thing called job creation, growing economy, that's the primary opportunity.
One word to describe the state of our economy, of our nation, honor your friend Joseph Boyka. How will you describe it? One word.
No, I don't. I can't come up with one word. Maybe opportunity to do better in terms of growing the economy and meeting the needs of the common Liberian person.
Mr. Cummings, what's your international strength for which, when elected as president, internationally this country will be looked upon?
So I have a lot of relationships, mostly on the business side. I have some political friends around Africa, but most on the business side. And look, later this year, early next year, I will bring some friends to Liberia, business people, prominent business people, some top people, so that Liberians can see, right, the kind of relationship we have, on a global level. But we have relationships in the region, sub-region, region, continent, certainly in the West as well. I've lived and worked in Nigeria.
Okay.
I've lived and worked in Kenya. I've lived and worked in South Africa.
Okay.
I've lived and worked in the UK. I've lived and worked in the United States. But in other countries in Africa as well, lots of friends relations in Ghana, for example. So yes, but again, towards the end of this year, early next year, I will get some friends to come visit the country, business people that Liberians can see.
Let's give you time to brief out a bit as we interact with members of the public. Those of you who are listening to us, you're listening to Kia Morning Show right here on Kia Radio, and we're also on our YouTube channel on Kia Communications Network. Many thanks to Vision TV, Golden TV, DN News, Closing Argument, Focus on Liberia, and our own KCN TV for also broadcasting us live, as well as Radio 3, D3 Radio there in Sino County for relaying this program. 0777 959 959 0881 871 670 are the numbers already activated. Let's hear you ordinary Liberians ask and interact with Mr. Cummings. But just before that, Jeff, maybe you could hold the call. I was trying to ask Mr. Cummings about the demolition exercise right in Town. Are there plans to maybe meet up with the people and empathize with them?
Yeah, we're trying to do that.
Okay.
To go and visit the people. So the answer is yes.
Okay. A bit to that. Do you think what have you gathered so far about that exercise?
Yeah.
You think their land and homes been taken away from them?
Yeah. So again, we will empathize because no matter the reasons or the basis, legitimate or not, the fact is that people have been displaced, right? And that's the piece I want to focus on. I would try to understand exactly the legal, whether it had a right, that kind of stuff. But that's one piece, right? The reality is people are being affected.
Great.
Right? People have been displaced. People don't have homes, so we need to empathize with that fact. And then the whole legal stuff, yes, whether they had a right to be there, not to be there, it doesn't matter. The fact is they're displaced.
Great.
And it's the human side that we need to focus on.
To the lines.
Yeah, be brief, straight to the point. This person, good morning. Your name, you join us from where? Let's hear you quickly.
Yeah, I'm Alex reporting from
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, okay, thank you. This person, Mr. Kamara Kumoni, welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Cummings. Yeah, thank you for the topic. One thing about Mr. Cummings is exactly the time you comment in the wrong direction, making some point. I want to see another position. Some people will come in and they're talking about it. Even the comment trying more, it's very rational. I love that.
Okay.
Mr. Cummings, we got you. Better now will be there for the go. Jump on your breaking and see what you do. When you come to the spotlight, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Let's hear you.
You have said, really, you have a legacy. On the 20th year, you didn't work for us. That is a Cuba. That was with you before. When the first election, he had gone to America, he did everything. And you give it over the phone, everyone at our place here. Your legacy is still with us. We need you. You said already. But really, Mr. Committee, just take my number. If you come back and then call me, we need you. Maybe the past election, we were waiting for you, but we couldn't see you. You have said, really? And you know the other
Read your number
Say your
quickly.
number.
Just read your number quickly. Read your number quickly.
077 5913987.
Read it again. Read it again.
Say your number
Got it.
again.
Hello. Please read your number again. Read your number again.
077
Mm-hmm.
59 13
Mm-hmm.
987.
Okay. Thank you. All right. David E. Harris, welcome.
Good morning, Brother Chairman, Brother Ubel, and good morning to Honorable Cummings. Honorable Cummings, Ubel, you can ask you a specific question. If you become president, what kind of car would your future use or the price of the car? My next question, business-wise, infrastructure-wise, what kind of investment do you have in this country? Can you explain to the people? People are listening to you. Give them a transport. Lastly, I'll let you recommend
You already know.
please build your party with the district, with the community, come down to the people.
Okay.
Down there, the common.
Okay.
Decide to work with the people, all the honorable women will be deliver for you.
Thank-
Come down to the district level and community level. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Let's go to the MTN line. Good morning, this person.
Good morning, my name is Mark Gaspar. My group from the College Association of the
Let's hear you, Marco.
Town.
Let's hear you.
My concern has to do with Mr. Kuwait claim that the still experience, which in favor of President Waka, who have not supported of President Waka. But do they think that the rituals, do you think that the rituals, any experience, to the trade to be touching on the country?
Okay.
We have tried President Shetty, we have tried President Wia, and now we are looking at, and now we are looking at President Waka, who is slowly laboring. Do you think that we can trust Cummings for our country? We should always recommend him and that joining the team to make that better.
Thank you. You've made your point. Let's get another person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Let's hear you. Your name is Jonas from where? Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, my question from Mr. Cummings is, we've been creating this goal now, we ain't created the moment
Okay.
for the 2 years.
Okay.
Next person.
Thank
30
you.
seconds,
Good morning.
please.
Good morning. Let's hear you.
How you doing?
We're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Cummings, just to support your United States Senate, still want you promise on that you are going to get the fund. After the election, the number you gave for that number, and then the number that took the photo. So how the people will ask, don't even put it up kind of vote for you. When you give me, the number you give me is enough me. Almost 500,000 money, and today you're saying that you can make the propaganda. So how can I get credibility in trust? Can you correct me?
Okay, another person
Thank you.
quickly, and then we'll close up the call line.
077-959-959-0881871-670 plus 231-777-959-959 are the numbers you can use this morning we have the ANC political leader, Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings, as our guest this morning. Yes.
Yes, so let's recognize some of our followers online. Emmanuel Fode Vla says, long live ABC. Dontio Williams is watching. Wellington Q Swar says, I'm following. Gabriel Oscar Greatness says, I'm following from Orange office on 16th Street. Thank you for joining us as well. Telvina Jackson said, ANC is the only alternative for the Liberian massives. Swen Doba says, you are welcome. I need my life to change, Mr. Cummings. Tilma Gibson says, thank you, Mr. Cummings. Okay, and it's just
Michael Fast Thinking Paul from
Yeah.
St. Paul Bridge. He says that the young people they want to major in St. Paul Bridge there. Let's go to Derek P. Jala from the CDC. Good morning, Derek. Welcome.
Hey, good morning, and let me say thank you for the opportunity. I had to Mr. Alexander B. Cummings. I call you for the Congress of Democratic Change headquarters. Let me further say thanks to Mr.
The one that is under construction?
We follow you. You come again?
The one that is under construction?
We are the headquarters of the CDC. Don't get one thing, why you
Okay. They're asking you.
I want to say thank you for empowering young people, for those guys that are around you, we follow you. But I think Mr. Cummings, coming to the presidency, we need a united force. Those guys in power today, they were united. You also were united with them. This is why they see their power. So I encourage you, Mr. Cummings, you cannot do it on your own.
Okay.
What I can ask you to do is to come and join hand with CDC.
Okay.
In order for us to redeem our country.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
We are going nowhere.
Thank you, Jala. Thank you. You've made your point. Let's take this final person here. Oh, okay, they went off. Yes.
Okay, this person says, yes, we can trust Mr. Alexander Cummings because he's the only credible candidate.
Okay. Good morning. Quickly, let's hear you. Please call your name quickly. Okay, let's hear you. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Two
Let's
comments.
squeeze this person quickly.
Finally,
Yeah, finally, last person. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Amos Edison.
Okay, Alex.
Yeah, I call you from Mountainous Village resident Araya Road. I'm the deputy coordinator for the ANC National Office. Yeah, I want to say this morning, thank you so much for our PR, for everybody here, Mr. Alexander Cummings. But there is something I want to say to the public. I want us to understand that Mr. Cummings has actually come to be able to liberate this country for business services. I have been following Mr. Cummings for the past 10 years now. And 2017, I was one of those that actually supported him. I was actually brought on board by my Bishop Ostomo Benson on the Marshall. And then from that time up to present, I have been supporting him. But like other people have been saying, Mr. Cummings needs to come down to the grassroots leadership in the Imperial District. Some of us want to become president 2029. That is our goal.
Okay. So you think the pathway is the grassroots leadership? Thank you so much.
You
Let's
so
read
much.
two quick comments and
Yeah.
then Mr. Cummings will respond and just wrap up as we close up on the program this morning. Jeans Kwanakpa Senior says, good morning. I'm following you from Habel Magibi County. Wish you well, Mr. Alexander B. Cummings. Rejecting Value says, yes, he's the only credible candidate that is a man who have Liberia at heart. If he will increase civil servant salary to 400, I think he said 300 USD, that shows that he have the country at heart. Bravo. Waka J. Somba says, great leader. And of course, with that, we'll go back to Mr. Cummings for his response and closing comment on the program.
Yeah, thank you, Obed and Jefferson. So let me just thank all of those people who were supportive, complimentary. I think Kamara, Colley, David asked for a price of car. I don't have a number in mind, but you know, a vehicle around 30,000, perhaps, maybe. Again, it would seem to be reasonable, right? But it's not only the price. We need to standardize right? So for setting levels, setting kind of vehicle, setting price, setting brand, so on and so forth, right? So we gotta standardize. I am an investor in 2 businesses in Liberia. One wasn't so successful. One is doing okay. I'm reluctant to name my investments for fear of reprisal to the businesses. I don't care what people say. People view me as a threat. There'll be some people who I'm not buying that stuff because who can come in money to run politics against me, all that kind of stuff, right? The regulators, all that sort of stuff. So whether people believe me or not, sorry, but I'm not going to penalize a business because of political reasons. And I'm looking at investing in another business as we speak, actually, in our country. So good question about trusting older people. I think, look, it's a fair question. It's a young country, given the history. But what I would say to that is, again, look at my past performance. Look at what I've done in the past, a good predictor. And the fact that we're going to surround ourselves with a lot of young people. There was another good question about, the person said they call 500 times or whatever else.
500,000 times.
Yeah, first of all, that's obviously an exaggeration. It's not a UP party person. But the reality is, I don't pretend to be perfect either. But I bet 9 out of 10 times people will call me and answer my phone. Maybe that he's a 1 out of 10. Anybody who tell you they're perfect, they answer everybody call they lying to you. I'm not perfect, but 8 or 9 out of 10 times, that would not be the case. The common 2 other things. One is around collaboration.